What if your body already knows how long you'll live, and it's been trying to tell you all along? Sounds wild, right? But science is pulling back the curtain on something most people never hear from their doctors. Your longevity after 70 might not come down to genetics or luck, but to simple, often overlooked signals hiding in plain sight. Forget the complicated charts and DNA tests. Your walk, your sleep, even your handshake could be revealing more about your future than you ever imagined. You see, while others are waiting on lab results, the wisest among us are tuning into the signs their bodies are quietly whispering every day. Curious yet? You should be. Because what you're about to discover might just change how you live the rest of your life. Especially if you're over 65. Or know someone who is. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. If this kind of life-changing, science-backed wisdom speaks to you, your support means the world. It helps us keep this channel going and helps you stay informed, empowered, and one step ahead. If this message speaks to your heart, help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Your support keeps wisdom alive and helps more people find guidance, comfort, and strength. Subscribe now and be part of something meaningful. Mike never thought much about the way he walked until his friend Tom started lagging behind during their morning strolls. "You always in a hurry, Mike?" Tom would chuckle, catching his breath after just a few blocks. But there was something more than tired legs going on. Mike, now 67, walked with that purposeful, steady rhythm of someone who wasn't just chasing time, but defying it. Meanwhile, Tom, though only a year older, had begun taking smaller, slower steps, occasionally stopping to steady himself on nearby benches. It wasn't laziness. It was his body quietly whispering a truth he hadn't yet accepted. Walking speed, believe it or not, says more about your future than your family tree. While people are busy checking cholesterol and counting pills, their own footsteps might be revealing far more, if they'd only listen. "You know, Tom," Mike said one morning, "my doctor told me that the way I walk might predict how long I'll live." Tom laughed at first, brushing it off. But as the days passed and the walking got tougher, his curiosity grew. That's the thing, walking speed isn't just about muscle or knees, it's about the heart, the brain, and the fuel running between the two. It's the rhythm of your health in motion. Think of it like this. Your feet are the messengers sending status reports up to your brain, and if they're dragging, there's probably a reason. What started as casual banter turned into a turning point for Tom. He wasn't just falling behind Mike on the sidewalk, he was falling behind in life. And what he would discover next about his own strength. Well, that's where things get interesting. Steve always had one of those handshakes that made you feel like you'd just met a man who could fix a car with one hand and carry groceries with the other. At 68, he still carried his own bags, popped open jars without flinching, and wrestled the lawnmower into place like it owed him money. His neighbor Bill, on the other hand, had started noticing little things, dropping the remote more often, struggling with twist-off bottle caps, and needing help with heavy doors. "Guess I'm just getting old," he said with a half-smile, masking the worry in his voice. But Steve saw right through it. "Bill," he said, gripping his friend's shoulder, "it's not just aging, it's your grip telling you something's up." What most folks don't know is that grip strength isn't just about hand muscles, it's a litmus test for total body vitality. And when that starts to go, it's like the canary in the coal mine of your health. Bill sat on his porch that night, squeezing a tennis ball in silence. The truth stung a little. He remembered when his handshake had been firm, when people looked him in the eye and said, "Strong guy." That strength wasn't just pride, it was independence, stability, life. Losing it felt like losing more than muscle. It felt like losing control. But Steve reminded him it's not too late. "Strength isn't gone," he said, tossing Bill a hand gripper. "It's just waiting to come back." What happens next when someone decides to take back their strength is nothing short of transformation. And sometimes it all starts with a handshake that reminds you who you really are. Linda was the kind of woman who made aging look effortless. At 70, she'd still slip off her sandals in the backyard and practice a bit of yoga while watering her garden. One leg raised, eyes steady, balance calm as still water. "You're gonna fall one day, you know," her cousin Diane joked from a lawn chair, sipping sweet tea. But when Diane tried the same pose, just 1 foot off the ground, she wobbled like a leaf in the wind, grabbing the chair before she toppled. "Whoa. Didn't expect that," she muttered. Linda smiled gently. "Balance is like trust. It disappears slowly until one day it's just gone." What Diane didn't know was that balance wasn't just about posture or poise. It was about the nervous system, muscle coordination, and even cognitive strength. The body tells stories in small ways, and losing balance? That's one of its most urgent whispers. Later that week, Diane found herself practicing next to the kitchen counter. 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds, she told herself. She couldn't hit 5. And that little failure stuck with her all day. You see, imbalance doesn't just mean falling down the stairs. It means your inner systems are starting to lose sync. The same systems that help you drive, react quickly, walk safely, even think clearly. Diane began to see that what Linda had was more than balance. It was insurance against decline. "Okay," she said aloud, chuckling at herself. "Maybe it's time for more than just sitting and sipping tea." What Diane didn't know was that her journey to reclaiming stability would open doors she never saw coming, especially once she learned how something as simple as standing still could change everything. George never skipped his nightly ritual. Warm chamomile tea, a couple of pages from a classic novel, and lights out by 10:30, no exceptions. At 72, he still rose with the sun, energized, clear-headed, and even a little smug about it. "Old bones, sharp mind," he'd say with a wink. Meanwhile, his old fishing buddy Larry had a different story to tell. "I don't sleep, I survive the night," Larry joked one morning, yawning for the 4th time before coffee hit the table. Restless legs, midnight wake-ups, and a brain that just wouldn't shut off. "It's like my mind's got a to-do list at 3 a.m. What neither of them realized was how sleep, deep, consistent, quality sleep, isn't just about rest. It's when the body does repairs, the brain takes out the trash, and the immune system loads up its defenses. And when that cycle gets disrupted, everything else starts unraveling. Larry's daughter noticed at first how he'd forget small things, snap more easily, and slump in his recliner after lunch like someone twice his age. George, on the other hand, seemed to have an internal battery that never quit. "You need better sleep hygiene," George offered once. Larry laughed. "I need a sleep miracle." But that's the twist. Sleep miracles start with tiny habits. No screens before bed, walking in the morning sun, avoiding that greasy burger at 9 p.m. And when those habits click, the change isn't just overnight, it's life-changing. Because the truth is, your nights shape your days more than most people realize. And for Larry, what came next would wake him up to that reality in the most unexpected way. Mary still found joy in the little things, chopping colorful veggies, smelling herbs as they sizzled, and plating her meals like a 5-star chef for an audience of one. At 74, her fridge was a rainbow of whole foods, and she had a bounce in her step that made people ask, "What's your secret?" On the flip side was Sharon. Once a passionate home cook, she now let meals slip by, often settling for crackers and a can of soup. "I'm just not hungry anymore," she'd say, waving it off like it wasn't a big deal. But it was. Her clothes started hanging loose, her energy dipped, and the glow she used to carry? Gone. See, when appetite fades after 65, it's not just about eating less, it's the body's way of waving a red flag. Something deeper is off, and if you miss it, the consequences can sneak up fast. Sharon's doctor noticed the weight loss first. "Are you skipping meals?" he asked gently. She shrugged. "Just don't feel like cooking." But what was really happening went far beyond the kitchen. Her muscles were shrinking, her immune system weakening, her resilience slipping through the cracks. Meanwhile, Mary continued thriving, not because she ate more, but because she ate smart. Protein, fiber, healthy fats, her meals were fuel, not just food. Sharon began to wonder, had she unknowingly starved not just her body, but her vitality too? One afternoon, after fainting briefly in the garden, that question became urgent. And what she discovered about the link between food independence and aging would turn everything around. Robert had weathered more storms than most, a heart surgery, losing his spouse, even the chaos of a leaky roof during a winter freeze. But you'd never know it. Life throws bricks, he'd say with a chuckle. I just built a garden wall. His secret? Deep breaths, morning walks, and the quiet strength of knowing what he can and can't control. Across town, Jack lived in the same world, but you'd swear it was falling apart. Every little bill, every news headline, every tiny glitch felt like a catastrophe. It's all just too much, he'd mutter, rubbing his temples while scrolling doom on his phone. Here's what they both prove. How you handle stress after 65 doesn't just color your mood, it writes the story of your health. Chronic stress is like a slow leak in your lifeboat, and if you don't plug it, even the strongest will start to sink. Jack's daughter, Emily, began to notice. Dad, you're snapping at the smallest things, she said one day after he lost his temper over a misplaced remote. What he didn't see was how stress was rewiring his brain, dulling his immune system, and quietly driving up his blood pressure. Meanwhile, Robert was thriving. His secret weapon? Laughter, perspective, and staying connected. You gotta talk it out, not bottle it up, he'd tell Jack over coffee. Eventually, Jack began to listen. He tried meditation. He joined a local storytelling group. And when he felt that first full night of peace in years, it hit him. Stress had been robbing him blind. And what he did next to take back control? Well, that leads us into the most unexpected form of medicine yet. Carol was never alone, even when she was by herself. Her phone buzzed with group chats, her calendar dotted with book club meetings and Sunday dinners. At 78, she still laughed like a teenager and hugged like a grandmother. People give me energy, she'd say, setting the table for her monthly potluck with friends. Nancy, on the other hand, used to have a circle too, but over the years, one friend moved, another passed, and the silence slowly became her normal. She convinced herself it was fine. I like the quiet, she'd say, though her eyes betrayed something deeper. But science is loud and clear. Isolation is toxic. It raises blood pressure, clouds the mind, and shortens lives in a way that no medicine can quite reverse. One evening, Carol called Nancy. Come to dinner, she insisted. Nancy hesitated but showed up, and something shifted. She laughed. She listened. She remembered what it felt like to feel seen. And for the first time in months, she didn't fall asleep to the TV's hum, but to the warmth of human connection. Social interaction isn't just a nicety, it's vital fuel for the aging soul. It keeps the mind alert, the heart hopeful, and the spirit grounded. Nancy began going out more. Even just waving to neighbors or chatting with the cashier started to feel like lifelines. And what happened next, the way those small sparks rekindled her health and joy? Well, it proves something we often forget. We were never meant to age alone. And now that you've heard these 7 powerful signs, take a breath and really think, which ones are showing up in your life right now? Are you moving with strength and balance? Sleeping well? Still laughing with friends? And enjoying your meals? Remember, this isn't about fear. It's about awareness. And awareness gives you the power to act. The power to live longer, healthier, and with more joy. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these signs surprised you the most, or hit closest to home? Your story might just inspire someone else watching. If this video helped you reflect, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss content that can truly change your life. We're on the road to our first 1,000 subscribers, and every bit of support counts. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out the next video linked in the description and showing right here on your screen. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.